Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so glad to have you here. Today, I am going to be talking about, as the title says, how I lost 100 pounds and have now kept it off for 6 years. Like, holla at your girl. I'm so proud of myself. I want to share this story with you because along my weight loss journey, I'm not going to lie, I did face some tough times. I went down some bad roads, I will say. I'll get into that later, but I wanted to share that with all of you and be completely transparent because I know I have been asked a lot by people, especially that knew me before my weight loss happened. So I want to tell you guys, and I want to be completely open and honest so that you know what I did, what I had to do to get to where I am now. I can safely say that now I have been like this, like I said, for 6 years. And at this point, I am at the healthiest I have ever been in my life. I feel the best I have ever felt in my life. And mentally, physically, I am doing the best things for myself and my body. I will go ahead, I'm gonna pop in a picture over in here to show you that, in fact, I was 100 pounds heavier. At this point, I was about 220 pounds, give or take. At that point, when I saw the 220 on the scale, I didn't look at it anymore for quite a while. And so I don't know the actual heaviest I ever got. But I can say that at 5'2", that was just too much for my, frame to be carrying around. And so that is when I really needed to make the change. I'm going to get into that in a minute, but first let's backtrack all the way to the beginning and when kind of this all happened. And I'm going to just say childhood. Like, as long as I can remember, I have been a little chubby my whole life. I was never that like really slender girl. I couldn't just eat whatever I wanted. My metabolism was not there and my diet was off the charts, terrible. I would eat just junk all the time. Those nutty bars, I'd eat like 4 at a time with milk, and then I'd eat the frozen burritos, all that stuff. And it was just, as a child, you don't understand that this is not going to be good for you. This is going to really affect your body. Just because your friends can eat it doesn't mean that you can. I just didn't have that thought process. And so I struggled with like body image my whole life growing up. In high school, I really started to notice, a lot of my friends, they were really fit and pretty, and I just wasn't that girl. And so I think in high school is when I really started to think, I want to do something to like make myself look better, more athletic. And that is when I really got into sports, and I started weightlifting a little bit, and I would work out after school, even if I wasn't like at practice or whatever. And it was all fine and great, and I looked better, but I didn't look awesome because my diet still wasn't there. I was still eating fast food for lunch. We could drive now, so we were off to McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever. We were eating out every day for lunch, me and my friends, and same thing. They could do it and they still looked good, and they were skinnier, and I was like, why can't that be me? And so in high school, I met Jesse, and I finally like had a boyfriend, and I was so happy with him. And at that point, I really stopped caring, I guess, what I looked like. I knew he loved me for what I looked like, and I didn't like have any desire to like change it really. I still stayed active and was working out. I actually worked at a local gym, and so I worked out pretty frequently, but my diet still just was not there. And so my body was not responding to working out because I was taking in so much more than I was burning off. At this time, I can remember, I was playing like Susie Homemaker. We had our house together, and so I would cook dinner at night, and I was cooking, mashed potatoes and chicken and like all kinds of just like crazy stuff, mac and cheese all the time. Every night I would make desserts for us, cookies, brownies, muffins. And if I would make a package of brownies, we wouldn't just eat a brownie, we would eat the whole pan with like just Jesse and I. And so you can imagine how fast weight can be put on when you're intaking that kind of calories. And even if I was working out every day, I still wasn't burning those off. And so that is of course how the weight came on. It was about 2012 that I was at my heaviest. Jesse and I did get engaged in July of 2012. And that is when I told myself, this has to stop. I have to look good for my wedding. I want to feel good. I can't look like this anymore. I can't feel like this, because at that time I was so down about myself. I was working at the gym, and I was working at a fashion like retail store, and all these girls were so beautiful, and I was trying to wear these clothes, but I just couldn't because my body just wasn't you know, right for those kind of clothes and what those girls were wearing. And I didn't fit in at the gym really because I was this like heavy, chubby girl, and I was trying to portray this healthy lifestyle that I truly wasn't living. And so that is when the change started, and things got a little hairy. I'm not gonna lie. So let's just get into that. Like, I'm gonna be transparent with you guys. I told myself at the beginning, you know, this might be kind of hard to talk about because I haven't really talked about a lot of it, but we're gonna do it because y'all need to know. We got engaged in July, and August is when things really started to change for me. I got the MyFitnessPal app. I had used it in the past, but I just hadn't really used it to its full potential. I was counting calories. I would plan them out for about a week at a time, like my meals or whatever, and then I would not stray away from those. And so every day I would plan out about 1,000 calories, which I'm no dietitian, I'm no expert in any of this, but that's not enough. That is not enough when I was working out and, you know, I was still active. So weight really started to drop off at that point. People were starting to notice. I was feeling really great. I remember the largest jean size I ever was like about a 33. But at this point, you know, I got down. I remember for our engagement photos, I was a size 28, and I felt amazing. It was the best I had looked in a long time, and I was so proud of myself and so happy with where I was. And I just kept continuing this. Like, I kept cutting my calories. There were some days I know I would do almost every other day. So on one day I'd get like 1,000, and the next day maybe 800. So at that point I started to really drop weight quickly, and people started to really notice, and maybe not in the most positive way. They were asking me, you know, you need to eat. You need to. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? I was working out at this time also about 2 hours a day. And that's if I only went once a day. I would go in the mornings at about 5 a.m. and I would do an hour of either like a spin class or weightlifting, and then I would do an hour of cardio on top of that, and then I would go to work. And that is then paired with a day of 800 to 1,000 calories. So people really started to notice, and at first they thought I looked amazing. They were like, oh, you look awesome. But I know at a point, because people would tell me, you know, you look too thin, you need to eat, you know. And at this time, I guess when people would say things to me about it, I got really offended, and I took it very personally, because I was like, how dare you, you know, ask me or tell me I need to like go eat a burger or whatever, tell me I'm too skinny, when you don't even know, like, I'm eating healthy, I am eating high protein, low carbs. I thought in my mind that I was getting the right nutrition and eating the right things, but just like at that time I didn't want to admit to myself, you know, you have a problem. And I don't want to say like I had a full-fledged eating disorder, because I don't know that it ever got to that point. I'm sure, actually, you know, let's just say it, I probably did, because I was so restrictive. I remember there was times when like my mother-in-law would try to get me a snack or whatever, and I would freak out, and I cannot eat that. That is not on my diet. That is not in my calories. I can't do it. And so, I mean, I guess maybe, you know, that was, I probably had a problem. I had a problem. Let's just say it. I had a problem, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to be transparent and just admit it. So there it is. There it is. I had a problem, and I wasn't eating enough food. And at that time, I think I got down to like a size 22 in jeans, in women's jeans. And so I was wearing like a size 14 or so in little girls. I could wear those. So if that tells you how small I was, I'll try to find a picture and maybe insert it here. And I always justified all of this in my mind because I thought I was eating a healthy, balanced diet because I was getting protein and I was getting vegetables and all of those things. And then also my BMI was in the average zone. So I thought, you know, if anybody would say anything, I would say, no, I'm healthy. This is what my BMI is supposed to be. This is what my body is supposed to look like. I didn't realize though that, you know, I was losing all my muscle. I didn't have any muscle tone going on anymore. And it was just not good. And so all of this was around the time that we got married, that things really, you know, I was at, I think my smallest point was at our wedding / on our honeymoon. So we got home from our honeymoon, we were in love, living life, and I kind of like let up a little bit on my diet. We were going into the holidays. This is also the time when we wanted to try to have a baby. And so I knew at that point I needed to gain a little bit more weight and a little bit more fat so that I could carry a baby. I started to really relax on my workouts. I would work out still about an hour a day, which you know, was a lot better than the 2 hours a day. That is when things really started to like kind of go in the right direction, I would say. You know, I started learning more and more about fitness. So in July of 2015, I got pregnant, And through my pregnancy, it was great. I was very relaxed on what I was eating. I didn't really care. I was still working out as much as possible. During pregnancy was the happiest I think I've ever been with my body until now. I felt amazing. I loved having a bump. I liked, my arms were like nice and toned at that time. I was getting like more of my muscle back, and I felt really, really amazing. And I think that pregnancy is really what changed and put me like really on the right track, the best track, the healthiest lifestyle possible. Because even though I was eating kind of whatever, it was still healthy things. I just wasn't restricting myself anymore from not having, you know, a cookie, or, you know, not having an extra piece of chicken. If I wanted chicken, you know, I let myself eat it, or a couple crackers or whatever, fruit, things like that. Things that when I was at that dark time, I would not allow myself to have. Like an apple, no. Peanut butter, 1 tablespoon. It was crazy what my mind was doing at that time and what I thought I literally could not have. And while I got onto the right track, I can't say that things were perfect after that. I remember even in the hospital after having Creed, I was so nervous to eat the hospital food because I didn't know what was in it or like the calories I was consuming, that I would have shakes from the gym brought to me like every day. And so once I got home with Creed, things kind of had to change because I didn't have a ton of time because he was a newborn, obviously. And so, I mean, you're devoting a lot of time to the baby. So thank goodness we had people bringing us foods, and we had like fruits, vegetables, things that they knew I would want to eat. And so it was a really easy transition in that way. And then from there, after having Creed, I just kind of let go and really just, you know, decided that I'm gonna just, if this is what I'm gonna look like, if I'm gonna be 120 pounds or whatever, that's okay. And I just want to be like healthy and happy and like live life with my baby and not be worrying about food 24/7. So how I maintain myself now is typically we go on walks. People on my Instagram are always commenting on how we're always on a walk, but I just really like it. We have a nice jogging stroller, and so Creed and I really like to go out and do that, and Jesse when he's home. And so that's been a really huge help. Breastfeeding also, I mean, helped me like substantially. I think feeding another human was really great for me. Now, as we're not like really doing that anymore, I have kind of noticed that I have to kind of watch my foods a little bit more, but I'm not to the point where I'm like so crazy about it. And so I can really sit here and say now, I think that, you know, this is the healthiest I've ever been. It's the best I've ever felt, the happiest I've ever felt, like with myself, with my body, with how I'm living my life. And so I'm gonna wrap it up here just by saying, you know, if you are struggling in any way with weight loss or just body image, anything like that, I'm here. I totally understand where you've been through. I've been through just about all of it, I feel like, through my experience. So I'm always here to lend a helpful ear. I am here if you ever want to see any kind of videos related to meal prepping, because I do that. If you want to see any of like my grocery hauls, what I buy at the store, I am more than happy to talk about that. Healthy recipes, I'm very happy to talk about any of that. Share some of my thoughts and my workouts, whatever you want to see, let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to share any of that information with you. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below for more of our daily shenanigans, drop in the comments if you want to see any of those other videos, and we will see you next time. Bye. Bye. Man, this camera is like way more zoomed. Oh yeah, it looks so pasty. And I was trying to like show, and I was trying to, yeah. And at this point, I guess I wasn't maybe using it at its full potential still yet. I took it to the other side, let's just say. It was bad. But gosh, sorry hair. Just you jealous boy, yeah. Bye.